G'day, it's Chris Skean again, back with you with my book review, High Performance Habits, and I'm loving this book and the previous videos. If you haven't seen any of these, well then you probably need to go back and watch the previous videos, but the previous videos talking about 3 social habits and these, three personal habits, and the next 3 habits, I'm up to habit number 4, and it's about high performance habits, habits that make people who are high performers, the best in their field, the way they are, and they're not born with it, they learn things. So what Brennan talks about in his books is you can learn all these things, and we all can. And my passion is to get out there and teach people and help people, and in teaching I'm obviously sinking into myself. So I'm up to the 4th habit, which is actually a social habit, and it's called increasing productivity. Now, increasing productivity is pretty much action. It's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak. So a big point he talks about in here, when you're talking about action, when you're talking about, because people talk about work-life balance and hours and whatnot, and one at the start here he talks about, this is people get it wrong, but the problem with what he's saying, probably what a lot of us do, is we count hours and we say we're at work for 60 hours or whatever. He says that is why I think there's a better approach to thinking about work-life balance. Instead of trying to balance hours, try to balance happiness to progress in your major life arenas. So he talks a fair bit about that, about getting that mindset that it's not, don't stress about hours, it's about happiness. You know, if you're putting in a lot of hours but you're loving it, and you're coming home and being a turd to your family, then, you know, and your happiness elsewhere is not real good, then, you know, that's the balance that's not right. So he talks a fair bit about that. I won't go into too much. The 3 main points though about increasing productivity, there's a bit of a theme in the book I've spoken about before. He always has 3 points. So the first one is increasing the output that matters. So increasing the output that matters. So what you have to do is figure out what you're supposed to produce, and learning the priorities in the creation, quality and frequency of that output is one of the greatest breakthroughs you can have in your career. So figuring out what's important, and not getting distracted, because that's what we do, and we're always getting distracted in things. So what's the really important things as far as action that matters in what you're trying to become a high performer at? All right, so increase the output of those things. And the second one is chart your 5 moves. So it goes along the lines of what we just spoke about, but as humans we juggle a lot of stuff, and we say, okay, I'm a good a multitasker, that's the word, but we're not really. What happens in the end is we get found out, and you're doing too many things and you get burnt out. So in doing that, when you're doing too many things, you're losing power. You know, you think you're going great, and then you thin them all out, and you end up doing so much stuff. You're spreading yourself thin. So the main thing here is to keep the main thing, and what he teaches is to know your 5 big moves that will take you to your goal. And he says then to break these moves into tasks and deadlines, and then put them in a calendar. So 5 big moves. What are your 5 big moves that will get you to your goal? And think of these 5 big moves, one move is a bucket of activities. So, okay, I need to do this, and break them down into tasks and goals and put them in your calendar. A quote here I must have wrote down somewhere, 202. Here we go. So it doesn't matter whether you know how to achieve the 5 moves at first. The important thing is that for every major goal you have, you figure out the 5 moves. If you don't know the moves, you lose. So 5 big moves. All right. And the third thing is get insanely good at the key skills that you need. So he talks about a progressive mastery in his book here. And it's about determining the 5 major skills you need to develop over the next 3 years, or that you need to develop so over the next 3 years you can grow into the person you hope to become. So the most important critical skills for your future. So what are the 5 skills, and skills are a single thing, what you need to get really good at, and they will probably become, or one of the things that are in your 5 major moves, they're in your bucket of tasks you've got to do, and you go, right, there's my bucket of tasks, there's my 5 major moves, and there's some skills in there that I'm not so good at. So it's about getting insanely good at those skills, identify them and go, right, I mightn't be good at them now, but what do I need to be good at in the next 3 years? bring that back to the 5 major moves and bring that back to increasing the output in these things. And that's where you get your 3 major stuff: increasing the output, 5 major moves, 5 major skills, increasing productivity, getting insanely good with clarity, and you get back to the first, the first 3 habits, and passion and with energy, and you'll be on the road to high performing habits. So that's it for today. Action Jackson, get out there, do some stuff. Increase productivity is habit number 4. Great stuff.